You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Battista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So, if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your, stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Polina Solda. The signs to know he is just your type. Ladies, welcome. I'm super excited to have as my guest, I was going to say my old friend, but we're not old. We've just known each other a long time in the love biz. And I'm super excited for you to meet Paulina. If you don't know who she is amazing. She is the founder and CEO of Love by Design. And she also has a podcast called Find the Right Man. And she is a certified dating coach. She's an expert. And she's the first Eniostyle expert in the United States. We have to find out what that is. She moved to New York City after divorce. She was dating, understands just like me what it's like in the real to be divorced and single and trying to find your person. And 13 years ago, she made it her mission when she met her man to help other women find the love of their lives. And now she has a process and she has a personality-based typing system that we're going to learn about to help you figure out who is your type, who is your real type. So I'm so glad that you're here. So my first question is
and Marni, thank you so much for having me. I love your podcast. I love your energy and the work that you do.
Oh, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. That makes my heart happy. So I want to know, so you've been doing this as long as I have. You're like, the long-standing expert in this industry. And I'm so curious, how did you decide to create this personality type assessment? And like, what was the idea, or how was that idea born? What were you noticing? What was the problem that you saw people having when they're trying to date?
So the first thing is to acknowledge is that I did not invent the system.
Oh, okay.
I discovered the system, and I was searching for something for almost a decade. The question I had, why is that some women that I would help and they would get into a relationship and it would work out, they became my success stories. But then later on, some of them continued in this blissful, long, stable, easy, lasting relationship like you and I have now for over a decade. And it didn't work out for others. And I kept asking and thinking, what if there was a system, a formula for how? And I finally found this personality typing system called Eniostyle, which explains so clearly, and it actually gave me the answer why it's so easy in my relationship. We're celebrating our 12th wedding anniversary this week.
Oh, congratulations. That's so exciting. That's so amazing. That's so amazing. So what is it? I mean, what are we looking for, and what is the general answer to the why is it that some things last and some things don't?
Right. On the most basic level. So the system called Eniostyle is based on Carl Jung's 4 psychological types. Chances are everyone already knows that we are very logical people. We are emotional, very sensory and intuitive. So this is all psychology back. Now, the interesting thing, what makes Eniostyle so groundbreaking and so accurate is that on a subconscious level, we are looking for somebody who is different from us, yet complementary.
Right. Okay.
So that's called the principle of dual partners in Eniostyle. And it absolutely makes sense. So when I did my research, and chances are everyone is familiar with the statistics that about 50% of all marriages end up in divorce.
Right.
Now, the number one reason is basic incompatibility. We can be attracted, we can be physically drawn to someone of any type.
Yeah.
We can find, oh, he makes me laugh, or we like the same music. And it works at the initial stages. Now, when we're talking about being together, sharing our lives together, what ends up happening if we are we're exactly the same type, you can make it work, but it's not ideal because the other energies, the other strengths will be missing. Two very logical people can have very organized home.
Okay. Yes.
But emotions will be lacking.
Right.
Or two very, very emotional people who have this drama, constant fear of emotions in the house, maybe dishes flying across the room.
Right. Because there's a lot of
the
emotion,
same, right?
Yes.
Or it could be that we might be drawn to somebody who is very different from us, and it's like so foreign and so exotic, but they're not complementary. And even in each scenario, there will be challenges. So I have this mantra that I tell my clients: if it's right, it's easy from the beginning. There are no red flags.
Right.
There are none of that. Does he like me? He doesn't like me. It's just very clear because naturally you give to each other the strengths of another partner are your weaknesses. And when you come together as a couple, like you truly complete each other. And there isn't anything you have to do except for just being yourselves.
I love that. So tell me this. So what's the difference between like a personality style, like this Eniostyle measures, and sort of like, just like patterns or limiting beliefs or things that happen in your childhood or attachment style? How do all those things play a part of this?
There is certain, great question. There's certain patterns, there's certain trends, so certain personality types. For example, and there are 4 types, just to be super clear. They're just like 4 cardinal points, easy to remember: north, east, south, and west.
Okay.
And if you think about even geographically, what north is very logical, structured, east, wisdom, creativity, ideas, south, emotions, fun, right? Comfort, pleasure, and west is impact, growth, next level. So it sort of makes sense. And so South's mission, and every type has a mission. We come here with a certain mission. For South, it's
great.
to feel, it's to laugh, it's to have relationships. So South will naturally have a tendency when it comes to an attachment style to be more anxious.
Okay, got it.
The whole world is emotions and feelings.
Yes.
So why does it matter? Is East, who is all idea-driven, idea-centric, creative. This is the kind of guy who causes the most tears from women. He's the one who will have an idea about something, his interest shifts, and he texts you an hour before and says, sorry, let's reschedule. So he can be both anxious and avoidant. And avoidant, it's just their way of even dealing with conflict. So there is one of the criteria that, based on which we determine personality type. And for somebody, it will get really emotional, get dramatic. That is South. East will be like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm out of here. I'm going to focus on something else. Now, if you are a South type of woman and you're trying to date an East type of man, it's going to, even at the level of making plans,
be very hard.
Already incompatible. Or if you're a North type, very structured woman, you want a man to call you a week ahead and make plans. So if it's an East type of man and you make plans and you think, now my whole calendar is planned, everything is perfect. I keep my system very structured. And then he disrupts it because it's just his natural way of being, which is also the other side of it. He's so fun, spontaneous.
Right.
But it takes a certain type of woman. So West, and I would say we're pretty much similar type. West, very grounded woman, very powerful.
Okay.
Your mission is to make impact. You're not going to stop when you have an amazing relationship. You will want every woman in the world who wants to be in a relationship to have it.
Yes.
That's exactly what we do. So, and West woman with a East type of man, he can play games and you'll be like, you're so strong and powerful. You can actually handle it. You'll be like, you know what? Figure out your schedule. I'm building my empire here later.
Right. Yeah.
And it works.
Interesting. Okay. Is that for a West woman? Is that the ideal, or is
the ideal is East, North, and South are also perfect for each other, because South, If you're a North type of woman, scheduled plans is important for you. South type of man, ethics of relationships. He might not be the most punctual person, but because relationships are so important, he's going to make plans and he's going to be there.
Ah, okay. So, and one is the North? Remind me again. What's
North
the
is
style?
system structure. So think about people like in Europe, like everything is like Swedish, right? Like even like lifestyle, like minimalism, simple, efficient.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, and then, so how do you, so this is, I'm really fascinated with this. So if you know what you're looking for, like if you know you're looking, if you can identify from what Paulina said, you know, like this is what you are, how do you not sell yourself on like a guy being who you want him to be if there's chemistry, if he's really cute, if, you know, you do like, you know, you both like a certain song or your parents both grew up in the same town. Like, how do you protect yourself from like a bias, right? That you want to create when you're looking for like your perfect match.
Yeah, I love it. I think maybe about a decade ago, there was something you said.
Oh, really?
One of your summits that totally made sense. And you said, listen, you keep dating the same guy with a different face.
Right. Yeah.
I remember you said that, and that is so brilliant. And so I also, my approach is based on training your brain. So learning how to manage your mind, developing that emotional maturity, because our thoughts create our feelings. So managing what you think, thinking on purpose, feeling on purpose. And our brain looks for what's familiar.
Right.
But it already knows repetitive patterns over and over again. So the first thing, how do you protect yourself? Why using your style is because the most important thing is to really, it starts with you. It's to know who you are. Because the moment you know who you are, it's very simple. It's going to be your dual partner. It's just the opposite of you, right? Different and complementary. So the moment you know that, it can be a breakthrough in itself. Because if you're West type of woman and you've been conditioned, let's say in the dating advice industry, there's this portrait of a West man. He's very strong, successful, provider, protector, but he's not right for every woman. So I was actually trying to date somebody with the same type, and it's a constant confrontation, competition. Who is going to be charged? There's only one leader, like there's only one decision maker. And I was thinking, oh, I just needed somebody stronger, even more successful than I am, even more ambitious. And it just doesn't work out. The only way it can work out is when you start being more like an East woman, like easygoing. And it's not who you are, and you're gonna get all that advice. Oh, step more into your feminine. But if you're a powerful woman, I'm gonna say, own your power, be in your power, and choose a man who is going to be complementary and different. Like my husband, very easygoing. He actually likes if I just make a decision about something, he'll be like, okay, great, but he will have an idea. He will have great ideas. I will never think like, I was like, how do you even come up with that? And then I'll be like, okay, we're going to make it happen. I'm the one then who will, like, that's how we come together.
Yeah.
Beautiful alignment. And we both can be ourselves. Now, what could be happening is that women could be dating the same type of man who isn't their dual partner. Just because that's what they've always done, and it doesn't work out every time. So there is a reason. There's nothing wrong with you. You could be just choosing. You could even be attracted because, again, thoughts create our feelings. So you could just dismiss somebody who's perfect for you, and they're not even on your radar. You're not even attracted. You're not even noticing them. You're dismissing them. And that is all of that is like, you can change it like this. I had clients who come in 10 years dating a West type of woman, dated for 10 years West man, never worked out. My program 2 months later, met her East type of man, perfectly compatible, got into a relationship. She's like, it's so different. I've never even dated anyone like that. It's amazing. I just can be myself. It works. There is no fighting. It's easy. If it's easy.
I love this. So let me ask you this, because I'm like always thinking about what people who are listening, because if someone is like very successful, like a West kind of a woman, I love that. And she's like telling you, Paulina, I've dated those guys, those East guys, and they just want a nurse and a purse, or they want me to do everything. I'm sick of doing everything. It's almost like they have an idea in their mind of what they think they need. But just because you dated someone who didn't show up for you or wasn't like an East kind of a man doesn't mean that an East kind of a man is not right for you. So how do you work with that? How do you help people understand you're not settling if you don't find a West guy?
Absolutely. And that is exactly, it's not just the compatibility. So this is on the most basic level. Like, it's just like with attraction. Of course, you want to be attracted. And naturally, when you align fully, when you're not trying yourself to be everything,
right?
Like, really aligned with who you are, you're naturally going to be magnetic to your dual partner type.
Right.
So it's like that light bulb just got turned on and shining bright. Now, when it comes to East type of man, there is another factor, and I call it frequency. And I'm sure you have some term that you use, but it's the level where a man at when it comes to his actualization in society. I call them highly socialized. So East type of man, think about men like East type, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, like Steve Jobs, John Lennon, like Matt Damon, all of the, like a lot of actors, right? George Clooney, like a lot of very playful energy. Leonardo DiCaprio.
And that's East.
The East. One thing, how you can recognize them, East type of man, they have this very specific gaze. It's very, very dreamy. It's like they're kind of looking through you. It's a very interesting gaze. And it's also like idea driven. It's like we're somewhere. We have so many ideas. It's like even shows in their eyes. Like you go on a date with them, they're like listening to you, but they're sitting like, are you with me? Like, where are you? Tell me, where did you go? Because I want to go. Take me there, right? It's that kind of gaze. So they're very creative, right? And they can be very, very successful. Like my husband is a very successful lawyer, but he says, well, I do it. But like really my life is about having fun. My life is about adventure and play. And we do a lot of fun things all the time. We have our family toys and like the boat and things like that. And that brings such a great balance because I already have all the drive and all that ambition. And I already bring all of it. So if I had a man just like me,
there wouldn't be any fun or play.
Who would be bringing in the other side, right? So for a strong, successful woman, I think it can be such a relief when you find a nice type of man who is fully expressed. He is successful. He's following his path of mastery, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be, he could be a musician.
Right.
He could be an artist. And it doesn't even measure in terms of, it's not about even how much money he makes.
I love this. I hope everyone is listening to this, right? How we can we can hear what we want to hear, but it's really about not just these external characteristics, right? That I think so many women are just like looking for, and they forget about the who they are, and they're just looking at the, what they are. So I think this is really interesting.
It's the essence, right? The whole point is here. And even for yourself, when you really align, is what are your natural, like, why are you here? Like, what is your mission? And really aligning with that and choosing a partner who's going to support you in that mission.
I love that. So what are the steps? Like, if you're going to start to think about identifying yourself, how do you start to look at that? What's the first steps you would take?
Right.
So I assume you have to know yourself before you can figure out who your person is.
I teach the whole system inside of my program. I think just the first step is start, so of course, learning that, but in general, understanding, thinking about your childhood when you were, like, if you're not really sure, like, who am I, why am I here? Like, just what were your natural, like, strengths, because they're going to show up naturally. You born with them. So they're going to show up in early stages until something happens. And we all have experienced that trauma and expectations from others and all that pressure, right? For us to be somebody we're not, right? And there's this term actually that exists. It's not an actual Eniostyle. It's not a personality type, but it is just a concept of a woman who's trying to be a little bit of everything. And it's not because she wants to, it's because she just been put into situations like she might be a very creative type, but her parents told her security, safety are your
Right.
one priority, and now she's an accountant. And how do you know that it's not aligned? Is how you feel. It's almost a litmus test. Just like on that date, when you go on a date and you know you cannot be yourself, it's hard. You have to put in an effort. That is, something is off. So the same in your life, if there is anything that like sucks life out of you, if your job is very structured and you want freedom, it's not going to align. So it's really returning to yourself, starting with the basics. What are the sources of joy for me? What are the sources of strength? What are the things I can do all day long? Like you, Marni, and we can do this all day long.
Right. That's true.
Yep.
I think I might be, I don't know if I'm a West or an East though.
All right. Well,
because I'm just thinking about this. I'm like, because I'm super creative and I have lots of ideas.
What about your husband? Is he the one who makes things happen and takes charge, or is he more like easygoing?
He's easygoing. He's happy for me to make all the decisions and do everything.
Do you like making decisions?
That's a really great question. And I think I want to elaborate because I think a lot of people will relate to this. I think that the trap I fall into is that I'll say I don't want to make all the decisions, but if something's not the way I want it, right, then I'll be like, I should have done it myself, right? I could have done, I could do it better or whatever it is. So I think that I'm really good at it, but sometimes I think I push it away because in our business and in our life and all those things, we're making a lot of decisions all the time. So I think it's a really great question.
Yeah. And that's something to discover. And again, this whole system is fascinating, of course, to learn, because we also have what is called a mask. It's our social mask, and it's always going to be exactly opposite from our actual type. And that is something that our parents would praise us based on when we were kids. If your parents praised you and complimented you, it's also how you're going to act when you want to be liked, you want to make an impression maybe on the first date, or you're under an influence, you had a cocktail, or you're falling in love. And oftentimes in the dating space, all of that happens at the same time. And so how in other ways, so I'm very strong and powerful. On a date, I would be very much East. I would be playful. I'll be talking about my hobbies. I will not be talking about my business and all the impact. So it shifts too. So
that's so interesting. Because I was just thinking when you were saying that, I was thinking, I've never liked making decisions. In fact, and you were talking about my parents, when I was in 4th grade, so like 10 years old, they had a decision-making class in my elementary school. And my parents were like, you should take this class because I don't love making decisions.
Here's the thing. You could be an East, but you have you've done such an, since the age of 4 decision-making class, you've done such an exceptional job of training your West, that mask.
Yeah.
That even I, an expert, could be totally be confused right now, because it could be so like in business, right? How do you know who you really are outside of your business? What
right?
Are you that creative? Because I wouldn't know that. Of course, we're not hanging out
right. Yeah.
But if we went shopping for a day in New York City, I would figure it out. Like, are you being playful and creative and all these ideas, and you just easygoing, or you'll be like, okay, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing, like being in charge, right? And
this is I love this because, and I think that's really an interesting thing, because I think that, and this is what I would love for people to sort of take away from this whole conversation, is this idea of these masks. Because when you said you do this or you do that, because there's parts of us, like you said, that have adapted, right? Because we're badass, right? And it's really fun. I'm loving this conversation for myself. Because one of the things that I was doing in my own work and teaching to some clients is this idea of like, what is the central thread of something that's always been part of you? And so I have my clients like think of 2 words that are your central thread. And so when I was doing this work, the 2 words were create and possibility. Because when I'm in my highest self, I create possibilities for other people, right? And I create ideas and I create, but when I'm in my shadow side, I can create possibilities for people who do not want me to, right? I can be like, you should do this, you should do that. Why don't we, right?
It's
and so
interesting.
Isn't it? So I'm just thinking, I'm like, I wonder if there's that West could be more of like the mask part, but really I am an East, which is why sometimes I just want my husband to make a decision.
Yes. And
because I'm an East.
I'm going to give everyone one. So when my clients ask, so how do you really know? Like the easiest, simplest question. And then we learn the system. They can type, ask a man or anyone, what is life about in 1 word?
Oh, I would say the thing that came up to me is like fun or play, silliness.
Fun, play, and you also said create. Your mission,
create.
As an East, Your
create.
mission is to create, but also what creates, creating fun, creating opportunities, creating play, and that gives away, because for somebody else, we're going to say, well, it's relationships. Very strong south. And also, like, again, just not go deeper, but we all have, each of us has all 4, but just in different proportions. There's a part of you that has that, like you will be on time, right? Or you will launch this project, or of course, but there will be that the biggest one. Like think about the volcano, that is the intensity. And then your 4th, right? There's 4 of them, will be like a match, like lighting a match. Very little.
I love that. I love that analogy. That's so amazing. Okay. Last thing. I mean, we could talk about this forever. But last question. So then when you look at this from the 60,000 foot view and you think about people who are listening to this, what's the biggest mistake you think women are making that they don't even know they're making?
Yeah, it could be, I think, without understanding any types, it could be that we're searching for what I call 4-in-1 man. And 4-in-1 is a man who has all his qualities equally.
Yes.
And the problem with that is that man doesn't exist.
Right.
What happens is you meet somebody who is very north. He's very structured. He asks you out. He plans dates in advance. But then you think, well, if he could only be just more like East, like more fun and spontaneous and unpredictable, but these are like mutually exclusive. So, or there will be something else missing, because none of us have it in the same, like we all have strengths and we have weaknesses. Somebody who is very structured and predictable is not going to be that all like super exciting, spontaneous and unpredictable.
Right.
So understanding that, I think that would be just stop searching for men who doesn't exist.
I love that. That's so great. I think my husband might be in North. I'm in East. He's in North. Oh no. This is so great. But I think this is so important. Like reality, life check yourself is the name of this show, right? And I think that that's a really important thing to understand is that, and I always tell my clients, you get 5 non-negotiables, like 5 things. The other stuff is wish list stuff, right? And sometimes you get all that, but I think it's really important to like put on a Post-it note, ladies. There is no 4-in-1 man, right? Like that is not real.
All in one.
All in one. And when you're looking for that person, you're kind of setting yourself up to fail. You'll never be satisfied, right? So really brilliant work. And this piece then around really figuring out what it is, how you fill yourself up from the inside so that you can find your person who has your thing. And then you have other ways to get all those needs met. So brilliant. I love you. You look amazing. I love your outfit.
Thank you, Marni.
You look so great.
I love our conversation. It's so juicy.
It is juicy. I'm gonna come to New York. I have a daughter who lives in New York. So when I come to New York next time, we're gonna go shopping and you're gonna tell me what my personality is. Okay, so I love what we have been talking about. And I know that you have created a really in-depth training that you want to give to our listeners? And I'm super excited. It's brand new. So tell everybody what you have for them.
Yes, so I have a special free masterclass for everyone called The Secret Keys to Understanding Yourself and Men. And this is where I teach in depth about those personality types, so that, and the specific criteria that are all psychology backed, so that by the end of that masterclass, you will have a pretty good idea, pretty good understanding of the basic type that you are. You will know right away who is most ideal type of man for you, most compatible, and you'll also know who to avoid. And you will know exactly how to use those criteria when you're dating online. You can look at men's profile, or you can go on the first date and use all of the specific criteria and be able to read men like open books.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so you definitely want to do that. The link is in the show notes. Definitely follow Paulina. She is amazing. I got to be a guest on her show, the Find the Right Man podcast. So if you want more, you want an East and a West woman in your life, then make sure that you check out Paulina and get this gift for yourself. And I'm so grateful for your generosity.
Thank you so much, Marni, for having me on this beautiful show. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP. That's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes, and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Battista, and let's talk soon.